It's been a while since I've done any sort of update on this white heat. So I thought I should because it occurred to me that some people might actually want to know what's going on with it. And when was the last time I updated anything? Jesus, it's got to be ages. Dare I say a year? So quick rundown. I'll try and keep it brief because I'll be here hours. It's been on the road now a good year. I feel like my MOT is due soon, so it's been about a year in full zetec turbo, guys. Um, Last summer I must have done about 5,000, 6,000 miles plodding around, going to every show I could. Yeah, nothing much went wrong really. I'm quite happy for it. Winter come along, I drove it a bit, and then I think it was late November. I was picking my friend up from not too far, but a good like 50-mile round trip. And um, it was dark, so I couldn't really see what was going on around me. But if it was daytime, I would have seen a big cloud of smoke behind me because a coolant hose popped off. On my thermostat housing, I've got the standard Zetec one. I don't run any like Raceline or Retroford one. I just run the standard one, and it's got two outlets on the front. Big one goes to the radiator. Little one, the little one I blank off with a silicon hose that's got no end to it. It's just like a cap. That had burst and popped off, and I didn't spot the temperature shoot up before it shot down because obviously it run out of fuel coolant, and it basically just, I believe the engine is still over there underneath that parcel shelf. I think it basically warped the head because over the winter then I replaced the head gaskets, and it it run okay even before I did the head gaskets, but I only had like 75 psi compression. It was basically, the head had been warped. So I've still got the engine, the block and everything's all over there. I've stripped as far as it can go. The pistons, crank, everything, they're all out. Um, so now it can get properly done when it comes back to being used. So you can just about make out parts deck, pistons, yeah, block, which has still got a tiny belt hanging out of it. I didn't take the crank out, did I? No, I left the crank in. That's all of it. So I've still got it. It will be fully built in the future. My mate is a breaker of Escorts and Fiestas and stuff, and he just happened to have a 1.8. I think he had more than one. And I was like, yeah, go on in. I'll have a 1.8. I'll chuck it in for a bit. Problem was, it was a silver top, so a couple of things had to be changed. But 1.8 silver top, boosting hard. I've dialed it down a little bit. I know that a normal silver top isn't quite as strong as a st170 engine, so it's around 11 psi now. I might come back up to about 13, but it for some reason, same clutch, but it likes to slip on this engine at 15 psi, which is what the ST engine was on. Don't know why. It's a really weird thing. That same clutch. Only thing different was the engine itself. Only thing I can think of is a 1.8 revs quite a bit quicker than a 2 litre. It's been plotting around. I've been quite happy now that it came back on the road end of April, I think it was. So it's been going to car shows this car show season. It's been to a few. It's quite happy. It is quite happy. Yeah. Couple of problems have propped up, though. I got no real power to my dashboard, and I don't know where that's come from. So that's today's job. That's something I'm doing today. All the dashes apart. It's the radio will go on and off as I go around a corner. It's just like something's moving. Um, I'm just doing a couple of checks here. That's why I got wires sticking in, and it won't give any feed to the dashboard lights, and the rev counter don't work anymore either. So it's weird. Um, the coolant temp gauge is on a different circuit. I've put my own gauge in for that. Obviously the old pressure gauge will work as an analog gauge, and again the speedometer works because it's analog. So there's an earthing issue here somewhere, so I'm going to try and get to the bottom of that because it's quite annoying. I've actually made my fuel gauge work. I've had a new sender in the tank. I say new, it's used. Um, but it works. And I've got a nice new auto video gauge, and it was like a good 60 quid. So I feel like I should use this because the fact that I paid 60 quid for it. But if I give it to the right feed, which is that wire, it works, which is really quite something because this car has literally never had a working fuel gauge in its life, and it's the biggest problem for this car at the moment. Recent show I went to with Capri vlog Anton, it ran out of fuel on the way there, and I put 20 quid in before I left and only done 50 miles. So I still ain't got my head around the fact that the fuel prices is higher, so 20 quid only gets you over 11 litres. So it's half that, half the fact that I don't really know how good the car is on fuel. So I'll give you a quick little tour now of the car. So this is it in its current guise. I'm calling this 1.12. It looks the same, other than this bit here is obviously a different engine. I've kept the pulley. That pulley on the old engine actually goes here because that's a normal bolt. Bolt, not pulley. And the other pulley deletes the VVT, so it's a thicker, it's a bigger thread. So only that one pulley, bolt on that pulley. So I wish it wasn't because it looks smart. Same boost hose is, same breather tank, intake, exhaust. Now, interestingly, something conversion boys might be interested in: silver top. When you're ordering a sump, you need to specify the difference because the pickup pipe has a different bolt location. The oddly, the angle of the pickup pipe is slightly different, so they don't quite meet up with the big end bearings. You know, the caps. You got to think about that. The oil filter, it kind of tilts back a bit. It's also, I believe, it sticks out more. Obviously, I've got an oil cooler sandwich on there, but it does stick out more. You can get short ones. You can get stupidly short ones, but maybe not the best for the life of the engine, especially with a turbo. But it does angle backwards, so you've got to keep that in mind. If you run alternator this side, you're going to have to think about it, you know, stuff like that. I'm running a completely standard silver top Escort setup. It's the one that doesn't have a aircon pump. So 2 idlers, one's a tensioner, PAS pump, and the alternator is there. And it clears the turbo, clears engine mounts. Another difference is, and it clears this water outlet on the water pump if you see it. The other difference I now have with this engine is it's now shaft. Yeah, love my agricultural welding as much as you like. Recently I've changed where the wastegate housing for the external wastegate is. It's underneath the turbo now. It was just up here. It was hard to get your hand down in places. It's just stupid, really. I don't know why I don't put it there. Blanked off the rerouting of the wastegate, so now is a screamer, which is a very addictive sound. Comes out just alongside the downpipe. And this engine now is mounted quite significantly lower. I remember you couldn't get 2 fingers between there before, so it's quite a lot lower in this this trim that I've done. And this is not where it used to be either, so the oil cooler sits just behind the radiator now. But the glaring thing you might notice is it's not white under there anymore, and neither is this wing. Well, not for the most part. So this is a colour that I'm testing out. This is a midnight purple. It's a Japanese colour. Skylines, Honda's, I think EP3s coming in, I think. Or maybe not EP3, but whatever version of Civic that one is. I'm not too sure on it. I've painted the engine bay because the engine bay can stay dark. But the body colour, I'm not too sure if I'm going to keep that or if I'm going to go for a lighter purple. Which, if you remember my old cam cover, it was somewhat this, just without red underneath. I haven't really got an example. My cam cover on the old engine was that colour, but it's gone all dark after being heated from the engine's heat. So yeah, there's two colours. It's kind of like that, to be honest. I just haven't figured out what colour I'm going yet. And when I do figure it out, yes, the entire car is going that one colour. And when I do figure it out, I can repair the door finally. What's going on at the minute? I am about to do a disc conversion to the back because my drums, the shoes are in shit shape. And don't know if you can see, there's a panad rod there, which I've fabricated in. It's meant for an Escort, but it's with some squeeze in. Fits. I mean, it's close to the fuel outlet, close to the fuel tank up there. I had to cut off the lug on the back of the World War II helmet on the diff housing, and I've lost the bar for my handbrake completely, so there's no handbrake. So it needs another type of handbrake, which is going to be cable, because that's all I can do now. But you can't use those drums with cables. So I've got some discs, a bracket there to weld onto the beam. And these are actually Mark 1 and Mark 2 Focus rear discs. Same as what I got on my ST actually. That one was new at some point. And the nice cable operated. So that's what's happening at the minute alongside that wiring issue. Probably not going to do anything tonight now. This is just a fill-in, catch you up. But yeah, that kind of catches you up on where the Capri is at the minute. So I'll try and do a bit more frequent videos. But in the meantime, I was doing the Escort as well. So it's not like I was all about Capri anyway. This thing is taking a lot of focus at the early start of the year as well. So yeah, I'll try and update a bit more often. Peace out.